What is neurodiversity? Neurodiversity refers to the fact that there are individual differences in brain anatomy and/or neurological functioning across people. When Albert Einstein's brain was examined and compared to other brains of a similar age and education level, they found his brain weighed less than a control brain. It also had more glial cells, and it lacked a furrow in the parietal lobe. You probably haven't heard of Emil Krebs, but he was famous for teaching himself more than 68 languages. And when he passed away, his brain was saved, and an examination of that brain showed his Broca's area was substantially larger than normal brains that were found in men about the same age and education level. Have you had a brain scan? Most people have not. Because so few people have had brain scans, our scientific understanding of neurodiversity is limited. We only know about the brains that have been scanned. There are people who have very unusual brains but live quite normal lives. Take, for example, the 44-year-old British civil servant who was a father of two. He goes to the hospital, gets a brain scan, and finds out that his brain is very strange. On the left, you see the large dark spaces in the area where you would expect to see brain tissue. The normal type of brain would be in the right on this screen. He had gone to the hospital because of a complaint with his leg. He had no idea that something was unusual about his brain. The hypothesis is that he suffered from hydrocephalus when he was younger, and the water on the brain had pushed the brain tissue up against the skull region. In another case, a 24-year-old woman went to the emergency room for nausea. She gets a brain scan, and they find that her cerebellum is completely missing. In the typical brain, the cerebellum would control movement and the planning of movement. So how is this person able to have lived a pretty normal life without a cerebellum? Well, it gets back to brain plasticity. When a person is young, the brain can reorganize and carry out functions in an unusual way. In a third example, a 60-year-old retired engineer from Russia went to the ER with what he thought was a mini stroke. He gets a brain scan, and it reveals there's no left hemisphere. Neurodiversity is getting a lot of attention recently due to the advocates of families who have individuals with autism spectrum disorders or schizophrenia spectrum disorders or ADHD. They want the world to know that minds are different, brains are different, and that the world should try to have greater understanding about neurodiversity. That's all for now.